urgent care facilities.
Wow.
Oh.
724. Let's get Sergeant Paul Tapao of the Guam Police Department onto the show here. Good morning, Sarge.
Hey, Hafide. Good morning. Good
Hi,
morning,
Paul.
Hafide, Serena. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. I know you're busy. We just wanted to get you in on the show. Tell us, have you guys been arresting more naughty kids for violating curfew?
As the nights go by and everything, right, we're seeing about the same frequency of kids that are being taken into custody. And, it's really a matter of the community and, of course, the parents that are tribute to this, that they understand the severity of the reasons and the rhyme as to why we're doing this. I mean, we've been, enforcing curfew laws, but unfortunately this is, a state of the island public health emergency that the need now is it's greater. So we've been working alongside our partners with Micronesian Resource Center in providing language in various FSM cultures about what the importance of the curfew, the importance of staying home. Micronesian Resource Center has also been helping with DOE and providing information about what to do and what not to do, and understanding just the different aspects of where we are in the government. So really, as the information gets put out there, we try to work closely with the families and helping them understand what we're doing. But the frequency of kids taken into custody, it's really we're looking nowhere from more than 10 to, I want to say the medium range is about 6 kids that are actually taken into custody. Our team is working closely with the village mayors. We are also working with the village watch groups, because the neighborhood watch group is really vibrant now because everybody's staying home. So a lot of the reports are being channeled to the respective mayors, in which turn the mayors will call our juvenile investigators or the task force, or the task force team to go out there and enforce and effectuate the curfew laws. But we're seeing a steady frequency of kids that are being brought in. We want to see a decrease. That's our goal. And we're hoping that the more information that we put out there to the community, the better there's an understanding. And I think we're slowly turning the wheels of people realizing the severity of what's really happening out there. So just the other night, 2 nights ago, we had from Sunday into Monday and Tuesday, Monday into Tuesday, we had about six minors that were taken into custody. And I reported yesterday, one of those minors, the 15-year-old male, was actually involved in a crime. So, we were able to apprehend him based on the work that's being done with the curfew enforcement.
And I think that's what's scary, that you're not just taking in kids that are like out and about, like hanging out. You're taking in kids that are committing serious crimes.
Yeah, people, like what the superintendent of the Department of Education, John Fernandez, had stressed and alluded to. This is not a holiday. This is not spring break. This is not Christmas vacation. There's a reason why we've canceled schools. So, the kids understanding this, we like I said, we're working with our community partners in providing that message and providing the language so that the parents can really grasp and understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. But you're right, we follow that same saying. The saying is, "Idle minds, idle hands," leads to it's the devil's workshop. So we're trying to prevent that, and really where we can sort of say nip it in the bud is really working with the parents and working with the respective communities and them understanding. But our guys are there. We have we still have our regular patrol officers who entertain complaint. We made adjustments in how we respond. And, this is in line with COVID-19. You can't come into the precinct anymore. You have to call, we'll make assessment, and an officer will meet you outside. How we answer calls and how we send our officers to these calls. We ask a slew of questions, and these questionnaires is really, it's the supervisor will determine the next move and approach and how we're going to do that. We have a reactionary team should somebody are showing signs and symptoms of COVID-19. A reactionary team will provide the assistance should we need to enforce any laws, any violation of the Guam Code annotated. But, this is how the Guam Police Department has shaped our structure and our function in order to better serve and provide the safety and security for the community.
You said 6. Is that on average daily, weekly?
Nightly, yeah.
Nightly,
yeah.
oh.
So our guys, not to really expound too much on the operational hours. we've actually embedded ourselves in the community by way of social media, by way of connecting to the neighborhood watch chat groups, by way of reaching out to the mayors, and it's really attributed to our community-oriented policing and how we've worked to establish this trust and this relationship. And this is where we're getting the calls. This is where we're getting, and our officers are there. Our officers are responding quickly. So, the neighborhood watch groups have actually played a great role in identifying where are the actual hotspots of juveniles that are hanging out, that are loitering within the community, and we're pretty much laying the hammer down, and we're going out there. We're taking these kids into custody. So
Hammer. Sarge, let's say I'm a knucklehead rapscallion kid. I'm just, breaking the curfew law. You guys arrest me. What happens to me? Am I spending the night in jail? Because you should just take them over to DOC, scare the hell out of them. Oh, D-Way.
So I mean, there's still reformative justice and everything that we still need to look at, because there's always ways in how we do it. So the severity of the violations that a kid be under the influence, whether it be alcohol related and stuff, there's they'll pretty much spend the night at the Department of Youth Affairs. A lot of these kids are just hanging out there. They're just ignorant to the fact of what's really going on.
Yeah.
So, it's really, we take that into consideration, and we counsel the parents, but we also issue a notice to appear. So when we take them into custody, we'll issue the notice to appear, and now they're mandated to go to the family courts based with the Attorney General's family court system. And this now becomes an issue where they have to pay a penalty and fines because they're not adhering to the curfew laws and the mandated curfew relative to COVID-19. So the totality of what we look at is really based on what presents itself as a minor.
And aren't parents, doesn't the law say that parents can be held accountable?
Absolutely. There's penalties, and there's stipulation with the curfew laws, and that's just excluding the court fees and everything that you're going to have to do. So, it's mandated that it's now. I believe the Vice Speaker had proposed the Responsible Parent Act.
Right.
In lieu of the payment, you would have to do this, parenting classes and everything. But nonetheless, this is where we are. This is where we're moving forward. We're issuing notice to appear. We're taking kids into custody and confining them with the Department of Youth Affairs. And speaking with Department of Youth Affairs, they've been alongside our juvenile investigators and our team in really providing the assistance. So big thank you to DYA for assisting us and being a part of this movement, or being part of this team in enforcing this curfew laws. But these are things, these are steps, and these are ways in which parents can understand that either you pay the penalty, and if you fail to pay it, then there's going to be, you may be mandated to face jail time. So
right.
These are actions in which you have to be, and you have to be the steward, you have to be the parent of your kids and take responsibility over them, because they're still under your purview and care. So you
Correct.
have to be the ones that take that leadership and the role. So like I said, we're working with our partners with the Micronesian Resource Center. They've been a great asset since really COVID-19. Samantha Tyson Abeniello, her team has been really pumping out information in various language and translation. And I think this is where we need to do beef up everything. Is information sharing and how we get the information to the community. Mm-hmm. And you guys, the partners with KOM and all our media partners have been a great asset. The JIG has been working, man. They've been working, and they've actually, it's a lot of work that they're putting out there. So big kudos to the team up at the JIG, Jenna Blas and, Crystal and Janella, they're, Isa has been really providing the information about schools and how we can actually get out there. So, working alongside these great PIOs has really been an honor for me.
Well, that's good for you. And good job to the JIC. But I did want to ask, you mentioned something about...
Can you say that with a little more feeling, Sabrina? We're on Facebook Live. Sabrina woke up on the wrong side of the island this morning.
You mentioned about a task force? Sorry, I'm so sorry, everybody. You mentioned something about a task force? Can you tell me about that?
When we stood up the COVID-19 initiative, we've identified personnel, not to really explain too much of the operation, but personnel have been identified for security, safety and security within the facilities. So you're seeing out there with skilled nursing units at Guam Memorial Hospital, the various sites, the quarantine sites. We're working alongside with other various law enforcement agencies within the executive branch to provide that safety and security. We have our curfew our curfew team that's actually working with Juvenile Department of Youth Affairs and some of the DOE's school resource officer or attendance officers. Now, any issue related to COVID-19, we have a task force that actually has been trained with the proper PPEs and donning and doffing, and and this is where the structure of the Guam Police Department and how we interact with the community. Once we receive the call of any issues, and the questionnaires have been asked and answered, and should the supervisor deem that this may be a COVID-19 issue, or we may be going into a place where possible threat of possible presence of exposure to COVID-19, we have a team that's ready to respond out there with the proper gear and everything. With that team is also there to assist public health, the Guam Memorial Hospital, our partners with Guam Fire Department, and just various ways in which we can provide the assistance. So this is how we've actually structured our movement of our personnel, our sworn personnel, with the Guam Police Department.
Sarge, do you have any update at all? Honestly, we totally forgot about the fatality that happened over the weekend. So I was at the scene in Talafofo. Do we have any new information on that, Sarge?
We're still waiting for the autopsy, and it's really, Sabrina had asked us the other day, and this is our fifth fatality of the year. But, other than what was put out, we are pretty much just waiting for the autopsy to be performed to determine the cause and the manner of death.
So it's all hands on deck for the Guam Police Department for COVID-19 response, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so what happens to other investigations, like with CID, and are they still investigating?
There's still the CID unit. There's still, everybody is still, other than the specialized unit that's been identified, everybody is pretty much still patrol. We still have our highway investigators. We still have our CID. We still have juvenile investigators. Well, that will investigate juvenile crimes. We still have our SAS units. We still have the structured functionality of the Guam Police Department. It's just the response to COVID-19. We've identified personnel and how they're going to be, deployed to address these areas, such as the security of the skilled nursing facility, the Guam Memorial Hospital, the task force that's going to be working alongside the Department of Public Health, the Guam Memorial Hospital, the Guam Fire Department. They've been identified. So, there's a lot of moving and personnel so that we can address it and still function with the Guam Police Department and providing the community with safety and security throughout the island.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Be safe out there.
Absolutely. You guys be safe.
You too.
Okay.
Okay.
Remember social distancing. This we can actually get through this as an island. We take this as a unified one Guam approach. This is something that we all can work to, and everybody does their part. We can see better things ahead of this island. So just stay positive, stay safe, and practice that social distancing, because that's gonna keep us moving forward. So
right.
Thank you guys. God bless.
Thank you, Sarge.
Thanks.
Oh, there you go, Sergeant Paul Tapao. Let's